So I'm happy for my American friend. She gets like immediate health care. She's not well and she gets immediate health care and she has no money. I've lived here all my life. It's taken 45 years to figure out what the problem is. And then they're so vindictive. They have to cover up what they've done, right? They have to blame you. They can't apologize and move on. This petty, vindictive behavior is allowed in healthcare. And they make you out to be the problem. This is the sickest I've been from the sleep deprivation. I'm literally being tortured. And so nobody has ever x-rayed my throat. Nobody has ever done the proper investigative care, right? I was brought right to the brink of death, not sleeping. Right to the brink of death. My sleep got less and less throughout the years. The solution was always right from the get-go. Drugs. Prescribed drugs. Until I'm brought right to the brink of death because my apnea is being misdiagnosed. Sleepwalking for decades from the medication. Sleep eating from the medication for decades, literally tortured. Respiratory depression from all the sleeping pills. Multiple sleeping pills at the same time, which I can prove. And I'm begging for help. No. I'm saying to them, is there any way, like this doctor deliberately withheld the information from me that a sleep lab exists. Is there any way somebody can watch me sleep? I would ask over and over again. I would say, I can't breathe when I'm in bed. I can't breathe. I was suffering from respiratory depression from all the drugs that they were prescribing me. And I was so dumbed down and uneducated and vulnerable and trusting, 100% trusted that they were doing the best they could. I 100% trusted that they had no clue what was wrong with me. And then I decided to get off all the medications just because I knew the medications were making me sick, but I wasn't sure. Antidepressants, anti-anxiety drugs, gabapentin, multiple sleeping pills, up to 7, 8, 9 respiratory depressants at once, different medications. Fought. That was my solution. Get off all the medications to see if they're harming me and if I could get proper diagnosis. And then I was almost killed in that process. Weaning off a Benzozo and a Z drug. I don't know what we're all. I can't find a path. One way, the traffic is too loud. There's too much snow to walk this way. Decades. So now it's taken 45 years. Oh, what I was saying was no one was looking at my jaw or my airway or my throat. And I had to direct them and say, can't you x-ray my throat? Can't you do something? Can't you shove there's a test called DISE. They shove a camera down your throat while you're falling asleep so they can see where the problem is. No, we don't have that here. But nobody would tell me the truth for a few years. They knew we didn't have the test here. But no, they had to lie and finally found out they don't have the test here. One doctor finally told me the truth. So I'm directing them and saying, can you CT, do an x-ray of my throat? Yeah, they did that. The problem is with the throat. airway, small airway. Now I'm trying to get a trach. They're refusing to do a trach. And they're refusing to say why. Well, the reason for this refusal is probably because one of their buddies injured me, and they all know it. It's in the notes. It's in where they can see comments about you, and you can't. You know, people are delusional if they think they can see everything that's written about them in their medical record. That's a falsehood. There's all sorts of derogatory comments, and whether you're flagged, I'm being scapegoated is what this is. And they'll flag you as being the problem. If you've been repeatedly misdiagnosed or repeatedly medically injured, they'll flag you as the problem. They will victim blame you. There's stuff made up about me that I can prove that it's not true. 45 years to get to this point. Now I'm begging for surgery. They're refusing. And I have an American friend that calls me up, and just within hours she's got top quality care, and she has no money. Another American friend of mine says, she's told me this a couple times, I will marry you to get you here, to get you health care. And then when you get the help you need, you can stay or you can leave. But I'm too sick to do something like that. I'm too sick to travel on my own. I'm too sleep deprived. I can't handle the stress. They brought me right to the brink of death, not sleeping. And they're allowed to do this. They're allowed to get away with it. They'll make you out to be a bad person, or they'll make you look as crazy as possible, and they will drive you to the brink of losing your mind.